Morning everybody. There's never a dull day at Walsall Football Club. As you'll have seen over the last 24 hours, we parted company with Darrell Clarke yesterday morning. And whenever there's a significant event at the club, I do come and explain the decisions to you. And this is no exception, because I did after the January window, and I feel it's right that I come and explain or give the club's view of things following the Darrell leaving the club. Let me start by saying what it wasn't, because the social media has been active as it normally is in these situations. This is not a financial decision. It simply isn't. We don't need to change managers, and we were not driven to let Darrell go to Port Vale based on financial compensation. It's nonsense. So the people that have said that in the social media are misguided and frankly talking nonsense. The second thing is that I've heard that people think it's associated with the January window sales, and the fact we lost two of our best players has somewhat destabilised Darrell Clarke. Again, absolute nonsense. Those two players going to clubs at higher divisions, Darrell Clarke was very much part of those decisions, along with me and Steph. And so any association with Darrell Clarke going to anywhere, and that event of those two players leaving the window is, again, I've got to tell you, it's complete nonsense. So why change? Well, frankly, the situation became unstable during the weekend, and I became aware of interest from Port Vale. At the end of the day, I've learnt as chairman of a football club that if someone doesn't want to play for you, or someone wants to move on, find a way. Because unless someone's committed to the club, particularly the manager of the team, absolutely committed in every possible way, then find a way of moving on. It doesn't matter what the situation is. And so we had a frank and frankly an emotional conversation yesterday morning at the stadium, where it became clear to me that he was ready for a change. He explained it, I'm ready for a change, I think I need to move on. And once anyone says that, frankly, that's it. They have to move on. And you very quickly move to, well, what do we do about it mode? Because once someone said that, there's no going back, because you need commitment. You need absolutely unwavering commitment to the club going forward, and I wasn't getting that. So it was a mutual thing in the end. He decided he needed a new challenge, and I decided we needed to change. And I know it's come as a shock to a lot of people. And frankly, I'll be always honest with you. I am disappointed, and I'm somewhat angry about the situation. But that soon goes. Life moves on, and we have to find a solution to the problem. So Darrell left. He went, as we know, up the road to Port Vale. Up to him, frankly. We will find a solution to Walsall Football Club, and we have in the shape of Brian Dutton in the short term for this season. And who knows at the end of the season what we'll do. I've got to tell you, Brian is someone I've obviously known since he joined 18 months ago, who I have enormous time for. He's a very, very young but up-and-coming coach in the world of football. I like his style. I like his moral compass, if I can use that phrase. I like the way he goes about himself. I unhesitatingly, really, after Darrell left, and my next meeting was with Brian, and said, Brian, you fancy taking over at least to the end of the season? He said, yeah, absolutely I do. And with Sads being a very able support, and I mean very able support, in Mike Taylor and Mark Bradley, Mark Churchman and Callum Hayes, that team have remained exactly the same as they were. So there's still a lot of stability in the club. And I like what I see with Brian Dutton, and I always have. And let you in a little secret, I've been mentoring Brian Dutton for about 6 months to one day take the place of Darrell Clarke. In fact, in this very office 2 weeks ago, Steph Gamble and I did a mock interview with him to see whether he was ready or not. We didn't realise at the time it wasn't so much a mock interview as a real interview to take over from Darrell Clarke. That's just a sensible management thing to do, because managers do come and they do go. And we were very pleased with him and very impressed with him. So he's young, he's, his own admittance, fairly inexperienced, but he is a top-class coach, and he's committed absolutely, and I'm very enthusiastic about the challenges ahead. So it's not a decision I've made in panic. It's been a decision we've been preparing for as a club for a number of months, as we always should. So I'd expect you and hope that you'll get behind Brian. Is different. He doesn't wear his heart on his sleeve like Darrell did. He's quieter, he's more measured, but he's just different from Darrell. So don't expect to see the same histrionics on the touchline from Brian as you saw with Darrell. They're just different styles of management. It's a daunting task taking over the management job of a football club, even when you are experienced, and he's, as I've said, he's young, a very, very able coach, but I want us all, me included, to get behind Brian Dutton to see us through this year, and then possibly beyond this year, but we'll see how we sit at the end of the year. So that's it. I repeat, not a financial decision, despite what you might read, nothing to do with the January window, despite what you may read. It's just a manager coming to see me saying he fancied a change in his life, and he'd run his course at Walsall Football Club. I eventually agreed with him, and time for a change. So, new world with a new manager, new style. Let's all rally round and get behind him, as Walsall Football Club always has done. Finally, I want to talk to you briefly about the season tickets this year. I'll be talking more about this in the next video that I shoot, but for this one, I just want you to know that we will not be launching what we usually call the early bird in the same way as we would normally do. And the reason for that is quite simple. With the pandemic still around, we want to wait for a bit more certainty about what the future holds for fans and for football clubs before we start asking you to part with your hard-earned cash for season tickets. So we're going to delay it. I don't know how long yet, but we are going to delay the season ticket sales this year until we have a bit more certainty about the world. As I've said to you, many times, this has been a really tough year, as for all football clubs, not just ours. But we're in decent shape, but it is tough, but the time isn't right to launch early bird. So we've decided to leave it for a while, and I'll keep you informed of what we decide to do. I hope you understand that. So finally, we've got a match tonight against Cheltenham. Brian's first one in charge. Wouldn't it be great to have a crowd in to get behind him, but we haven't. But I still want you to get behind him. And I follow, or just in any way you can, get behind Brian Dutton to drive us through for the end of the season. I addressed all the players yesterday after Darrell left and said, no excuses. The king is dead, long live the king, with Brian coming in, and I expect no excuses, because he's not making any. We are still going to push very hard this season, and I made that very clear to the players. They were absolutely fine with it. Cheers everybody. I'll be back, no doubt, as things develop during the course of this season. As I say, there's never a dull day. Thank you.